Muito bom. Boa noite a todos. Sejam todos muito bem-vindos. Estamos numa noite extremamente especial para o Reiki, tanto para brasileiros como para portugueses. Não é mesmo? Coisa linda, maravilhosa essa reunião, as pessoas chegando, não é? Para nós recebermos a nossa querida mestre de Reiki, Colleen Benelli. Colleen?
Well, hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here, and thank you so much, Sue, for inviting me and each of you accepting the invitation as well. And thank you, Helena, for your amazing translation and also making this possible. Well, as Sue introduced me, I'm Colleen Benelli, and I live in Portland, Oregon, which is a state above California. And I have been practicing Reiki now since the year 2000 and have gone through a lot of its evolution and changes and my own personal growth and my own personal changes and spiritual development, just as well as a practical daily, I like to call it mind management use of Reiki. For me, Reiki is a very practical energy that is useful in my daily life, which is, as it turns out to be, our business name, Reiki Lifestyle. And it is a lifestyle for me. And I'm also very blessed that this is what I get to do for a living. I also work with my daughter, Robin Benelli, and very full time. And I have also a full team of people that help me accomplish what I do as well. I'm really honored to work with Sue. Technically, I'm called her mentor through the ICRT Licensed Teacher Training Program. I am the co-director of that program. And when I say I'm mentoring Sue, she also mentors me. And as she said, we're also friends and just very, you meet those soul sisters and soul brothers, and you know who they are when you meet them. And that is who she is for me as well. So, as I said, I'm also the co-director of the Licensed Teacher Training Program for the International Center for Reiki Training. I'm also the executive director of program development for the ICRT. I'm also the co-author of the Animal Reiki, the ICRT Animal Reiki course and manual. And I'll talk about that a little bit more if we have time later. My background started with shamanism, and my practices started with shamanism. I've studied shamanism longer than Reiki. I was in shamanic training for 3 years when I received Reiki. And I'll just give a short version of my history and what inspired me to receive Reiki. I lived on a farm at the time with my husband and 2 children, and we had lots of animals. And I have always had horses. They have been a big part of what I hear in my heart and motivating factors for me in life decisions. And I had this one horse that was my lifetime dream horse. I saw him for the first time, looked in his eyes, and it was like, oh, there you are. Well, he was just a baby at that time. And so I had him in training and I played with him every day. And my daughter was also into horses. And so we did it together. And then about 2 years later, when he turned 5 years old, he had a leg injury and he became permanently lame. So he through all of the different medical things that I tried and everything that I tried, it was clear that it would be a permanent language. So one day I was working with him and I asked him what happened. I said, why did you go lame? Because it was a big life change. And he showed me an image of me putting my hands on him. And he said that he went lame to deliver me to my power to heal. And I knew he meant Reiki. And so I actually was very skeptical about Reiki at the time and decided to procrastinate about getting my Reiki attunements. About 8 months after my horse gave me the message, I was in my place of business, and a woman walked into my place of business and said that she was a psychic and that she had a message for me from my horse, and that he told her to tell me that he had been giving me a message, telling me to do something, and that I hadn't done it, and I needed to do what he was telling me because life was coming and I was going to need it. So I realized how powerful of a message that was. And I immediately received my Reiki attunements. And it felt as if I found the answer I had been looking for all my life. That it was an immediate recognition of the energy, and it changed my entire belief system, because when I received Reiki through an attunement, I didn't believe that was possible. I didn't think that something could just be given to me the way Reiki is given to us. I thought that everything I did had to be hard work and that it might be a struggle. And so when I received Reiki through the attunement, it was life-changing. And in addition, I could physically feel the energy. It was flowing through my hands and my arms, and it was even so intense that it actually scared me. And when we lived on the farm, we had this 300-year-old fir tree, a giant tree, and I would go sit underneath her and try to discharge that energy because the current was so strong that it was uncomfortable. So it set me on my journey. I thought that I would work with animals with Reiki. I thought that would be my path. And when I started to work with my horse all the time, he said, "I'm fine. You need to work with people." And I didn't know what that meant at the time. I just knew I was so compelled by the Reiki energy that I had to do Reiki all the time, to the point that I felt like I was chasing people all the time. Let me give you Reiki. Let me give you Reiki. I can help. I'll give you Reiki. And my daughter was a teenager at the time, and I would try to do Reiki with her and her friends and at her basketball games and things. And one day she finally was like, "Mom, sit on your hands. Stop chasing us around with Reiki." So anyway, I just became so passionate about it. And at the time, I had a successful business, and I knew that I had to practice Reiki more. So I ended up selling my business and started practicing Reiki full time. And that was in about 2004. And I have been practicing and teaching ever since. I studied with William Rand in 2003 because I knew that I didn't know as much about Reiki as I wanted to know and wanted to be more professional. And so that's when I traveled to the United Kingdom, to England, to study with him there and received my Reiki attunements. Well, the main thing that really happened there in addition to really liking him as a person, I really liked the professionalism of his presentation of Reiki, the manuals that he had, the the organization of the class was just such a good and strong organization, but it was free flowing and friendly and warm. In addition, the main thing that happened for me was that he had what was newly discovered with the evidence-based history of Reiki. When I learned Reiki in 2000, I learned the old history of Reiki, and it was a very strict style and did not really accommodate intuition. And also because I was still in shamanic studies, I was very engaged with my intuition, and I'm naturally an intuitive person. So when the original style of Reiki that I learned was very structured, so for example, the hand positions had to be exactly done the right way and held for 3 minutes. And we would have chimes that would chime every 3 minutes so we knew when to move our hands. And I really wasn't taught that it was appropriate that I could move a hand here and put it here or put it here if my intuition guided me that way. So when William was teaching the evidence-based history of Reiki and took that, when I do this, by the way, it's because my camera gets fuzzy, and it clears my camera. Anyway, when I was studying with William and he taught the evidence-based history of Reiki, what he showed was going back to Usui Sensei, the founder, and how he actually was teaching Reiki as a very spiritual style, a very intuitive style of practice. And so it brought the entire energy of Reiki around for me because it moved me into that ability to practice Reiki the way I was guided. And that it was so important, and I didn't know then what I know now, was that it was so important to me with William's style of teaching that he was teaching us tools and techniques to practice Reiki, but also then guiding us to follow our own inner guidance on its practice, to learn from the Reiki energy itself to teach us. So fast forward, we'll go into some of the other subjects after a little while. I do want to start this with an invocation. So just fast forward to where we are today. I continued in all of my studies. I continued with the ICRT, became very involved in that organization, and then my own Reiki practices. I have a podcast, Reiki Lifestyle, and it is in English. So we have that, but Sue and I have just recently done some work together too that she posted. And I'm also happy enough to do more things where we do have a translator and Helena can translate for us too. So that brings me to today, and I'm just really glad to be here. I'm very aware of the circumstances that you in Brazil have been in with the rains and the floods and the critical situations many people are in. And so what I'd like to start with for this tonight is to do what we call an invocation. And that will be bringing the Reiki energy in to each of us, bringing us together as our divinely ordered circle. I always think of everyone that is here is part of a divinely ordered circle. We were meant to be here together. And some of you might be listening later and not able to join live. And this is including you as well. So the invocation will be bringing us all together. And then what I want to do with that is to also send Reiki to all of the people, the animals, everything that is struggling now or suffering now or just trying to recover now as a group. And then I also want to have the group send to each of all of us in the circle so that each of you will also receive Reiki. So I will guide it and Helena will translate it, of course. So it's going to be a little bit longer than I had originally planned because I do want to do this work with all of us together and take the opportunity as the circle that we are to share the power of the circle with everyone in need, including each of you. And so we'll do that. Then we'll go into some more discussion around Holy Fire Reiki, Reiki Mastery, some of the just kind of things that I think about with Reiki. And then we're going to do what is called a Reiki journey. And during the Reiki journey, we'll probably take a 5-minute break in between. Now thinking about it, I don't think I put that in there, Sue, but we'll take a break too. And what we'll do is a Reiki journey. And in that journey, we are going to travel over the distance symbol, Honshaze Shonen, and as a bridge of light. And we are going to the spiritual realms of the third heaven, which are enlightened realms. All there is love there. We will be visiting the river of peace. And then we will be going to what we call the field of possibilities. And so, right now, in astrological terms, this is a time of new beginnings, a time of finishing up some of the completions that you might have been in your life, and then also new beginnings that are starting. And sometimes you're finishing up the completion, and sometimes you're in the new beginnings, and maybe you're even further along than that. But we want to take some time for you to really receive the empowerment of those possibilities and opportunities that are here for you. And, those possibilities for me, sometimes they are as esoteric as just let me experience more beauty in my day. It could be something, it could be a goal that I want to accomplish, but it can also be something just to feel more at peace or to have more mental clarity about something, or maybe you have a relationship thing that you're thinking about, or something that you want with someone. Perhaps you're in the middle of creating something right now and you're in innovation and you want Reiki to empower that innovation and the ideas and your imagination and abilities to manifest. So all of those different things can come in that field of possibilities. And so what we'll do when we get to the field is I'm going to actually stop talking and give you time to be in the field, to receive the energy in your own inner experience. And some of you might like to do what we call automatic writing or free writing, where you take time to write down some of the insights that are coming in. Otherwise, you can just listen. You don't have to do automatic writing if you're not guided to do that. So we'll do that. And also, I want you to feel very comfortable if you have questions to either put it in the chat and Sue or Helena can ask those questions. And also, or if you have comments, feel free to do that. I want this to be a very comfortable and easy gathering together today. And so, but also after the Reiki journey, we will have some time to have questions and answers or sharing anything else too. So with all that said, before we go on to the invocation, does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, go ahead
Se
then.
alguém tiver alguma pergunta, podem levantar a mão ou escrever no chat, como vocês quiserem.
So did you just tell them what we're doing? Oh, okay. Okay, great. All right. Well, I think what we will do then is go ahead and go right into the invocation. A lot of times people like to turn their video off if you want to, or you can leave it on, however you are comfortable. And so this will be a little bit of a length of time. It might be a good 15 minutes or so. So feel comfortable. Again, what we're going to do with this is I'm going to activate Reiki with your breath, bring the circle together and the power of the circle together. So together we can send Reiki to all the people and the animals and circumstances in Brazil, and then also for each of you individually. So I'll give you I'll guide it. And then afterwards, we'll go ahead and go into some information. All right. Okay, so go ahead and get comfortable then. So close your eyes and take some deep breaths. Place your hands together at your heart in Gasho. And open your heart and receive. A brilliant light from the highest heavens travels down between your hands, through your hands and into your heart. The light fills your heart and fills your breath with the gift of love. Open your heart and receive. Place your hands comfortably on your body now where you're guided, and breathe deeply. As you breathe in the light and the power of Reiki, the vitality, vibrancy, and color, and the brilliance of life force energy here on the earth. As you breathe in the light and the power of love by every name it's called. The power of love travels in on your breath, flowing into your body and awakening and revealing the power of love within you. And as you breathe in the light and the power of the divine mind. And the divine mind fills your breath, flows into your body, and reveals your divine mind, awakening your higher consciousness, higher thought, and opening the field of possibilities. As you breathe in the light of the divine mind, it flows right into your heart and awakens your authentic intuition, imagination, instincts, awakening your inner awareness, your inner guidance, your inner truth, and your inner authority. Breathe deeply now. As you breathe in the light of the divine mind, and it awakens your innovations, possibilities, opportunities, solutions, resourcefulness, awakening all parts of your higher mind in your daily life. As you breathe in the light and the power of the divine heart, and the divine heart fills your breath, flows into your body and awakens your heart light. And your divine heart shines through your heart in front of you, behind you, on each side. Your heart light shines above you, below you, and within you. As you breathe in the light and the power of the divine earth, and the light and the heartbeat of the earth rises through your body. The colors of the earth and the elements of the earth rise through your body, filling each of your chakras, flowing throughout the top of your head and through your crown and beyond. And the light from the heavens, the light of God, flows through the top of your head and through your body and all the way into the earth. And the light of the earth and the light of the heavens flows through you. It's one light, your light, this breath, your breath at this moment in time. And you remember now that your body is made of the earth to give your spirit life and breath. At this time in your soul's history, on the journey of your soul. And as you breathe in, the Holy Spirit fills your breath and reveals your Holy Spirit within you. Your holy fire ignites and awakens within you. And like the tree of life, you receive of the heavens and you receive of the earth. Your roots grow deeply into the earth around you, creating stability and strength, sustainability. As your branches reach to the heavens and receive the ancient wisdom through the blessings of the four winds, from the earth, the people, the animals, the stones, the waters. And your branches reach to the heavens and receive the wisdom of the divine, wisdom of the infinite realms of pure consciousness, love and light. And you open your heart and receive as the wisdom and knowledge within you wakes up and is revealed. Your heart light shines with your gifts, your talents, your inner knowing. And the light of divine compassion fills your breath, flowing through your body. Zonar, Halu, Hearth, Rama, Nosa, Yava, Shanti, Kriya, flowing in on your breath. And your perceptions expand now to the beautiful beings of the light that are here gathered with us in our divinely ordered circle, joining us here today. The beloved and sacred ones of each of you, those beautiful spiritual beings that you are in relationship with, are here with you. The angels and the archangels are here, and the ascended masters, and our brothers and sisters in the light. The divine animal kingdom and the spirit of the earth, all are here, and the beautiful teachers of Reiki that are here with each of you, for you. And so we take this time now and we open our hearts and we receive the power of Reiki and the blessings, the healing, and the empowerment as Reiki fills your breath, flowing through your hands, flowing through your heart. And now we take this time and we listen a moment and we go within. And together we send Reiki to all of the people in need. We send the power of love, the divine mind and pure heart. We send to the animals and the trees, the plants, all the creatures, people, sending the power of our prayer, the power of our love. And now look inside and say thank you to you. Take this time to honor you. to acknowledge you and how deeply you love, how deeply you care. We say thank you to each other. Our circle is always divinely ordered, and we were all meant to be here together today. And thank you to the enlightened ones that have joined us, the illumined ones, the spiritual guides and teachers, the light of Reiki, the 12 heavens. And now imagine yourself here in our beautiful circle, and open your heart and receive. Receive the light and the power of Reiki here from our circle with all of us, for each one of us. Take this time for you to receive. Now take some deep breaths as Reiki continues to flow through you and you continue to receive. And we invite Reiki to continue to go to all the people in need, the animals. There are so many things, there aren't enough words to speak of, and so we send it to all. And we send the power of solutions and resources and healing and kindness. And we welcome the light of grace for all. Say thank you to you. We say thank you to each other. Thank you to the enlightened ones. And thank you to the teachers who came before us, the descendants who come after. They are so very honored to be here together today, contributing wellness to the people, the animals, and the earth as light bringers, each on our own journey. Thank you. And so it is. And you can take your time coming back. Reiki energy was very clear that it was going to continue to flow through you now, and also flowing through all of us, and the power of this prayer and the power that we have together to contribute wellness for all. And now recovery. So I want to share a slideshow with you, and some of this we decided on kind of way back before today. So also I want to make sure that we are also sharing what you want to hear about. And so I want you to feel very comfortable asking any questions, even if they don't seem completely related. So what we thought we would talk about mainly is, as Reiki empowers you, and as you strengthen your use of Reiki, some of the benefits of it, some of the spiritual and personal growth that I have experienced that I can share with you from my own history of it and observation. I've taught thousands of people from around the world, both in Reiki. I haven't taught thousands of people in shamanism, but well, maybe in the hundreds at least. So I've been doing this work a very long time, and like many of you, I can look back and know that I was born for this calling, that it is a part of who I am. And I feel so very blessed to have found it and discovered it in my life, to be able to fulfill my purpose this way. I feel like before I get started on some of the topics that I don't know why I'm guided to share this, but I feel like I keep hearing it in my ear, say it, say it, say it. So I'm going to share, because it was apparent to me at the very end of the invocation, when I heard the words light bringer at the end of the invocation, which I use that term all the time, so it wasn't unusual. But the way my intuition works is it's things like that highlight, so I can hear different things as I'm channeling, because those are all channeled, even though I have kind of a way that I always work with it. It's still always channeled. And so I never know quite where things are going to go. And I believe that that's also an aspect of what Reiki has done for me, is helped me to get in touch with that inner awareness, to be able to hear at deeper levels, to be able to listen. And when I say listen, I also mean perceive. So it's not an actual sound, it's a perception and inner awareness. But anyway, I feel like I am guided to share this about the term light bringer. In my shamanic work, I became very aware of the styles of healing that people are practicing. And there's many modalities of healing and energy work and spiritual healing in the similar way as Reiki, or very different ways as Reiki. But one of the things that I became aware of, and there's more than this, but typically in the big picture or in the big numbers, there are two types of healers. And some people are born to be warriors of the dark, like they are going to go in and they're going to battle for their spirituality. And there is a battle with it. There's more, it's a more aggressive style, powerful style. However, many of us in this lifetime were born as the light bringer style. And the light bringer style is where we empower the light and the light illuminates the dark. And so for us, it's none of us doing the work. It's the light coming in. It grows so bright that anything that's a lower frequency is going to dissolve into it. And what I discovered that in my own experience, and I guess that's why I'm guided to share that particular piece with you, because for me, it was a dramatic life shift when I realized that I did not have to fight for it all, that I could just allow that Reiki energy to flow through me, allow the Reiki energy to do the work. And it was no longer coming from my life force, but from the source and the energy of Reiki, which is an enlightened source of energy, that I could just let it flow through and it would handle whatever needed to be healed. It would take care of empowerment for people, for animals, for the earth, and that my role was simply to bring the light, just be part of it. And so, with all the struggles in the world that we have all gone through, and with Brazil being a kind of a sister country with us, or at least that's my perception of it, I've always had a connection with Brazil in my heart. I believe that we have all gone through a lot of divisiveness in the last however many years. I guess it's always there, but particularly in the last 4 to 5 years. And it became such a personal awareness of what I could do in the world right now to contribute to wellness. And that came through with the awareness of how do I make a difference, because where I live, we had a lot of protests, rioting, things like that. And I thought, well, that's not my way. I was a political activist and that wasn't my way. And finally, when I started working with Reiki, I realized that that was my way. That is what I could do in the world. That's how I could make a difference, because it can't fix it all. And even as a child, I think I always knew I cared deeply about making a difference in the world in whatever way that I could. And I first heard Gandhi's teaching when I was a teenager of be the change that you want to see in the world. And then it was a whole journey of how to do that. How do I do that? Personally, on a spiritual growth level and a personal growth level, living daily life with all the things that go on with living daily life and family and kids. And we had, a pretty large farm and animals and everything else. So particularly highlighted in these last years has been the awareness of the power of being a light bringer. That I just don't have that warrior in me to go out and be in that style. what I do have is I have that light bringer style to empower the light, and those that it is their job to go out and be in that warrior style, I can hold the energy for their own ability to carry their power, what they need to do. But for me, what I can do is contribute to the gathering of all of us, contributing to building community, both in my own circles and then as they spread out in the world. And that as we all do this individually and collectively, that's how I actually can make a difference. So then it got to, again, the how to. How do I do that? How do I make that difference? And that's where the Reiki energy comes in, because it works through the energy of grace. And grace means going back to when I thought I couldn't receive an attunement because it was given to me. I didn't have to work hard for it. I just simply had to say yes to it. That's an example of grace, that it was simply given to me. I didn't even have to deserve it. Reiki energy is trying to teach us that it's already here. It's already who we are. We are powerful beings of love, and human beings care deeply about love. And so that's what I can do, is I can empower that love. I can empower that ability to gather together and do things like what we just did today. And it makes a difference. And I'm continually shown that, how much of a difference it makes. So what I'd like to do is get into some more specifics. I did create a PowerPoint, so we'll see. And Sue was kind enough to translate it into Portuguese for us all. So I am going to screen share a little bit. Again, please feel free to ask questions. And this is time for you. And, it's not just about me speaking. So if you have questions, please feel free to either raise your hand, put them in the chat, or unmute and ask me. All right, so I am going to start the PowerPoint though. But before I do that, Sue, or is there anything that anything before I get started on the PowerPoint?
No, I think you are saying everything. I think everybody is enjoying a lot what you are sharing, and so important, everything that you said. So I think you can go ahead.
Okay, great. Let me just take a moment here. Okay, so get the screen sharing going. Make sure I get the right one. Okay, whoops. Hold on, I got the wrong one. I have the English version. There we go. Okay, I have the right one now. So what I wanted to talk about is advancing your healing journey and what that means for you. Even though we can all take the same Reiki, we can learn the same techniques, we can practice many of the same practices, we still have our own personal healing journey. Some of you are here because you want to have a Reiki business. Some of you want to have a Reiki practice. You already have a Reiki practice. And some of you are just starting out and learning about what Reiki is. So wherever you are in your practice, Reiki is going to help you your way. there is a historical basis for Reiki working with each of us individually according to our needs. And I'll get into that in a minute. So one of the other things I want to talk about is when I'm referring to Reiki practice and Reiki business, the way I think about it is that some will have a Reiki practice and some will have a Reiki business. You can have a Reiki practice. That's all the things you do with Reiki. And that can be for yourself. It can be for you and your family, your animals, your daily life. And those are your Reiki practices. Some of you may want to have a Reiki business. And when you have a Reiki business, you will still have a Reiki practice, but you can have a Reiki practice and not have a Reiki business. So that's how I like to kind of define it. And that the reason I want to say that is because I'm speaking to all of it, to both of it, both or all of you in whatever place your particular journey is. So the first thing is that Sue and I, and many of you, work with the lineage called Usui Holy Fire Reiki. And what that means is that in the beginning with Usui Sensei, he started off with Usui Reiki Ryoho, meaning that he was practicing the lineage he created of Reiki energy healing. And he called it Usui Reiki Ryoho, and that differentiated it as his lineage, and that he was working with the Reiki energy using his particular techniques, which included the attunement. And that was very unique at that time because people prior to Usui had already been working with the Reiki energy because it's the energy, but Usui created a system that involved an attunement. And so that's one of the unique differentiators with him. So through that time from the 1920s all the way through today, what we're talking about, there have been many different people who have taught a variety of what we call lineages of Reiki. We're all working with Reiki energy, but there's different ways that we work with it. So originally, Usui was working with 3 different symbols. Then Dr. Hayashi learned from him, and it's too big of a history to go into right now, but Mrs. Takata learned from Dr. Hayashi, and then she added the Usui master symbol. Then after Mrs. Takata passed in 1980, a variety of people learned Reiki through her Reiki lineage, the Reiki Alliance, after she passed, and developed different lineages of Reiki themselves. William Rand developed the Usui Tibetan style of Reiki and also the Karuna style of Reiki. Well, then in 2014, he was also guided to receive and accept the energy of Holy Fire Reiki. So it was another energy of Reiki and another symbol, and it combined the energy of the Usui symbols as well as this new Holy Fire symbol. What we know now, though, is the Holy Fire energy is not new, it's ancient. It's part of creation. It has been worked with throughout history by people of different religions and spiritual paths. And I believe in my experience of working with it because I received it right away with William and working with it for 10 years now, that what I believe is the energy itself was guided to come through the system of Reiki for several reasons. And one of the main reasons was that anyone could learn it. Anyone could work with it. and anyone would have the ability to be with it. And it was bypassing some of the limitations of working with it that other people or other traditions actually limited. So it came through the Reiki energy to provide us with unification consciousness and also to help us heal in many of the ways that we had been limited in our lives. And mainly, what I really believe it has done is that it is teaching us how to access our own inner truth and our own inner authority, and also to that we have been in the ages of what we call the outside authority, where we have lived for generations of being told what to believe, what we have to know about specific, let's use spirituality, is just one of the areas. And that what Reiki is trying to do, and not just Holy Fire, but what Reiki is trying to do is to teach us it's already all right inside of us. So Holy Fire energy itself is very gentle, and it heals in a very gentle way. So starting a little bit with its history, again, it's a long history, and I do want to do the Reiki journey and have more time for that. So I'm going to summarize some of it. William Rand received Holy Fire in 2014. He was in a Reiki session with his spiritual practitioner at the time, and the energy came in. It didn't have a name yet, and said it wanted to work with him, that he had really evolved as far as he could go with the energy he was working with, and would he accept this new energy? So he felt guided to say yes, and then had to learn how to work with it. I was fortunate to work with it immediately with him, and I decided to work with it exclusively for a year so that I could understand it. And then after a year, realized that I needed more time with it. And so committed to 3 years of working with it exclusively. And now I just love the way it does the healing work. And I love the way it empowers us. And most of all, the way it reveals our wholeness as part of its nature. It ignites that wholeness within us. It ignites our own spirit. And the word holy means whole. So our Holy Spirit ignites within us and within our bodies. So in 2000, one of the things we know about the energy, and it said right at the beginning, is that it would continually evolve itself. And so in 2015, we had Holy Fire II. And then in 2018, William was on Mount Karama and received another upgrade. And the 2018 upgrade of Holy Fire III was very significant and very powerful. And so that one was the one that really brought in our recognition of the spiritual beings we call our brothers and sisters in the light. They are ascended masters of the world's religions and spiritual paths since ancient times. It also brought in the concept of unification consciousness at a much more powerful level, which was to heal the separation within us. So often people feel separate from each other, separate from nature, separate from the earth, separate from God, separate from animals. But most of all, we often can feel separate from our own self, as if our spirit and soul are somewhere else, and our human spirit is just right here. And what that Holy Fire unification came in was to really unify all parts of us so that we are living in our divine consciousness right here in our human consciousness. Then in 2020, as we know, the pandemic hit, everything, around the world, people went into lockdown. We certainly did here. And that's when William and myself and my daughter, Robin, worked with, okay, never mind. I thought I was on the wrong PowerPoint. We worked with developing the online version of Reiki. William was bringing in the Reiki energy to help us kind of elevate and integrate more comfortably with the energies, the electromagnetic fields of technology and the spirit of technology. And then in 2022 is when the World Peace Reiki came in. And, we certainly need that. And we are empowered for world peace with it. So some of the benefits of I want to talk a little bit about becoming a Reiki master. And many of you already are Reiki masters, but it's okay to always hear even more. Even when I was writing this, I thought, oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, that's true. So even if you're already a Reiki master, just taking this time to recognize within yourself of how these energies, when you receive that those master symbols, because in the master class in this lineage, we actually receive an attunement to the Usui master symbol called a placement, and then the attunements to the Holy Fire master symbol, which is what we call ignitions, and there are 4 of them. So it's a powerful energy along with other experiences that actually in the 3 days of the class are really about you. Even though some of you will take it out into the world for others, you may want to create a Reiki business. You may want to share Reiki with friends and family, however that's going to work for you. What it really does first, though, is work with you personally to empower you physically, mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually. And spiritually can mean whatever it means to you. I love that about Reiki, and I also think that's another reason that Holy Fire came in, was to give us access to our own spirituality, however is true for us. This energy also enhances your inner awareness and your inner truth. It activates your intuition. All Reiki does this. So Holy Fire, yes, but all Reiki does this. And for any of you listening that are not called to Holy Fire Reiki, please trust the Reiki you are called to is the right Reiki for you and is powerful all in itself. Each of us can be called to a variety of different spiritual practices, different healing practices, empowerment practices, and the one that you are guided to is the right one for you. So although we're talking about Holy Fire here today too, I also want to be very clear that all of these things are true for each of you in all of the ways that you receive and are guided to work with Reiki. So it enhances your ability with your intuition. Your imagination is a big piece of it. It enhances your instincts, your ability to perceive all around you, to have an external source of awareness, as well as an internal source of awareness, to be able to perceive on a deeper level. But most of all, what I would say it does is it teaches you how to hear yourself. Because when you go into your own inner truth, that's when you start to hear you. And when I first started with all of this work, I thought that I was, just looking for God. When I say just, I was looking for God. And then, of course, that is still part of the connection. But what I really discovered is that I needed to find me. And it was me inside of me that had me seeking, had me trying to find my voice, my message, my truth, my authority, who I am, what I believe, what I know, my own personal wisdom, my own personal growth. And spiritually, I had been raised Catholic and I really loved being Catholic, but then I started to question the authority of it. And when I really started studying with shamanism and Reiki, it gave me all new relationships with Jesus, with Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. And I also found that I could have relationships with other spiritual beings because practicing shamanism, I learned spiritual practices from other indigenous peoples. And so I also expanded that part of me as well. For instance, Kuan Yin is another big spiritual teacher of mine. Ganesha from the Hindu traditions, and then some of my Native American spiritual teachers and guides that I have worked with. So Reiki actually gave me greater access to myself and my own inner truth. And working with each of the master symbols, each one had its own nature and own expansion and its own way that it was working with me for greater depth of understanding. The other thing that it gave me the ability to do was to support others. And as I said earlier, I always cared deeply about contributing to wellness in the world and trying to find the way that I could do it. And so Reiki gave me that ability. I did end up creating a business with it because I just wanted to practice it all the time. And in my financial situation, I would either have had to, well, keep my other business or get a job or do something else to support myself financially. So I thought, well, if I want to do Reiki all the time, I'm going to create a business with it so that I can just focus my attention on it. So that's the other opportunity that you have. And the other thing that happens is it gives you an ability, a greater outreach. And now, particularly that we have this kind of global connection and global opportunities, it definitely gives you a greater ability to reach out into the world and contribute to positive vibes in the world. So, understanding, I've talked a little bit about this already, understanding the master symbols, that when you reach those, they are the next level of understanding. And none of this is better than. So, for those of you that have Reiki 1, it is powerful all in itself. And so you may or may not ever be called to expand into the higher levels or more advanced levels of Reiki and Reiki training. And you should feel empowered exactly where you are. The master symbols do take you to another level, another depth. Each one has their own depth, their own meanings, their own frequencies that we connect in with. The Usui master symbol is that deep connection of your lower and upper chakras, so your higher self and your human self. It was the first symbol that when I worked with it, it had the connection of of my divine mind with my human mind. And it started that unification of the two, that they were operating together, they weren't different. And then the Holy Fire energy, one of the main things that it taught me to begin with, when I think of, one thing that I can say about it among 100 things I could say about it, is that it's teaching me to love my own human self. And it's teaching me to love humanity and to recognize how deeply human beings love. And I say it that way because there is so much human shaming and human criticism about who we are. And yet we're really extraordinary people. Humanity is extraordinary at the same time. And of course, I know that, we have things going on like we have right now. And I definitely am aware of what's going on in the world. But at the same time, if you really look at it, every place I've ever traveled, in every condition, and I've been all around the world, people love. They love each other. People are kind. People are generous, and people love. And so I believe that that's the main thing that Reiki, Holy Reiki, and Holy Fire Reiki has really brought into my heart, is that depth of love for humanity. And, it helps us heal ourselves. Also, the master symbols give you the ability to attune others. So you may be called to attune others, through a class or just on a personal level. You can teach others, train others, and then they can teach others and train others, and also contributing to working with animals and the earth itself. So I've talked a lot about the power of holy fire. I'm looking at the time, and I want to make sure that we do have time for the journey. And so I'm going to kind of go through this quickly. The Usui holy fire, combining Usui and holy fire together, is definitely this elevated or evolved, might be a better word, level of consciousness. Again, I want to be clear, it's not a better than, it just simply is another level of consciousness. And so Usui Holy Fire 3 Holy World Peace Reiki is a lineage of Reiki that includes all of the different symbols. It works continuously. It's gentle. It's loving. It brings in peace and fulfillment. And it also prepares each of us and all of us to actually be able to have clarity of mind, clarity of solutions, problem solving. But in addition to the problem solving and the healing that it does, it empowers us into our innovations, into our possibilities, and into our opportunities. It creates curiosity. It creates questioning. And also, the other thing I love with it is it really brings back another level of childlike wonder, which for me, I love imagination, curiosity, wondering and wandering, and, kind of thinking about life itself, noticing the beauty of life, just being creative. You think of kids and how resourceful they are, and the level of just carefree playfulness that they have. And some of us have lost some of that. Some never had it. And as we grow into adults, we can lose that part of it. Part of us. I can see it now, having grandkids and looking at the grandkids growing into it. But the energy itself also absolutely contributes to our childlike wonder. Okay, so as I said, it can create opportunities if you want a professional practice. It definitely is doable to create a professional Reiki business and practice. It can increase your reach, increase your availability to help your own family, help yourself, your own personal growth and development. And it also adds another level of community. Although you can always be in community at whatever level of Reiki you are, or just even if you don't have Reiki, you can always join our communities. The other thing is that there are other things you can learn about Reiki with this. And one of the ones, I'm one of the authors of the ICRT Animal Reiki with the Tree of Life energy, another whole level. I could come back another time and talk about it. And then also Karuna Reiki is another level. And then also, just like Sue teaches some advanced level classes, my daughter Robin and I teach some other advanced level classes that you can participate in too. And then I also want to announce that we are teaching a Usui Holy Fire III World Peace Reiki Master class. And it will be in Portuguese and English. Elena will be translating for us. Sue will be there. And that will be September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. To be honest, I had thought I could come down there in person, but due to some family situations, some family health situations that are happening in my world, I needed to stay home and make sure I was available to help. So we are going to be online, which gives everybody a greater ability to join. And you can find this source. Sue will actually send out an email to all of you with the link to the class if you feel guided to take it. The other thing I would tell you, if any of you do speak English, is that my daughter Robin and I have what we call a distance Reiki share every Tuesday morning. For us, that is 9 a.m. Pacific time. Right now, we are 4 hours behind you. So 9 a.m., it would be at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays, your time, for an hour and a half. And we have a global Reiki share. It's free, it's open to everyone, and it's online. And you can go to my website, reikilifestyle.com, to find out the information for that and get the links for it. It is in English, although you can join even if you don't understand us, and we give and receive Reiki as a group and community. So, Sue, do you want to add anything to this? Just want to say thank you to Sue for making all of this happen. And she is absolutely in front of the scenes and behind the scenes, helping me make all of this work with all of you. And Helena, you also, thank you both so much.
Wow, was great to hear everything. Thank you so much, Colleen, to offer your time and everything that you said. I saw comments here that people really enjoyed both the invocation and also what you were sharing about your experience. I think that if you speak English, it's really nice to be in Colleen's Reiki share. It's a great moment. And as you can see, it's not so complicated to understand Colleen speaking because she speaks each word, so it's easier to understand. And well, we will have this class in September, and Colleen is offering super special conditions for us that we speak Portuguese to be in this class. So we are offering these conditions there, and I think everyone that wants to become a Reiki Master or already is a Reiki Master should think about being in this class, because this is a unique opportunity to have this teacher and amazing group of people. So I'm really happy to be with this group, and we already had a class that we co-teach with Elena, translating to Portuguese, and it was an amazing class. And also, I had the opportunity in the beginning of the year to give another class with Colleen, and this class was really, really nice. The energy was amazing. So Colleen is my mentor teacher, and she's also one of the people that are understanding, studying, developing Reiki techniques for regarding Holy Fire and understanding the energy. And I think that it's a great opportunity to be with a person that understands deeply what's going on with this energy, with Reiki, with the evolution and everything. So I think it's an amazing opportunity what she's offering to all of us. I only have to thank you, Colleen, and this journey that she's going to also guide us. I'm sure that can bring so much clarity. Maybe if you are thinking about your path, I think it's a great opportunity here to receive the energy and ask your questions and thinking about your next step.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, well, what I'd like to do is go ahead and go into the Reiki journey that I talked about. So, what a Reiki journey is using the Reiki energy. We will be going with using the distance symbol, Honshoze Shonen, to travel over a bridge of light to the enlightened realms of the third heaven. We will be meeting, traveling or walking or journeying to the river of peace, where you will have the opportunity to let go of some of the burdens that you've been carrying and things that are limiting you or restricting you or just, burdening you. And then also, we are going to continue on the journey to the field of possibilities and the tree of life and spend time there where you will have the opportunity to go within yourself and listen for possibilities and opportunities, solutions, resources, ideas, innovations, creativity, questions maybe that you have. And in this field, you can either take some time to write some notes about it, or you can write during the journey, or you can also write about it afterwards. So, with all of that said, this will be using Reiki energy, so it'll be like a guided meditation. And the reason we call it a journey is because it goes deeply into your own inner self and your own inner awareness and perceptions to give you information. You may have all different kinds of experiences. If you find yourself going somewhere other than what I guided you to, go where you go, follow your guidance. Sometimes you may fall asleep, or you may drift into kind of that void place, the gap where you're not awake, not asleep. Sometimes your mind might be busy and you have a lot of mind chatter. Just let yourself be exactly where you are and let it be okay that you are right where you are. All right. So go ahead and get comfortable again. If any of you want to play music, you can start your music. You can also just do it in silence. I'll give you a minute to just kind of get settled. And so the way that the timing is working, I can stay after the time, but I know some of you may be on a time frame. So we'll complete the journey, have some time for you to reflect. And then for any of you that want to share, we'll stay and share. For any of you that will need to go right at, let's see, would that be 9 p.m. your time? I'll open the circle, but I can certainly stay longer. Okay, so go ahead and get comfortable now. And now close your eyes and take some deep breaths. And place your hands comfortably on your body. And open your heart and receive. Breathe deeply now, and as you breathe in the light of Reiki. It travels in on your breath and awakens the light within you, revealing the power of love at the core of your being, the power of your divine mind, awakening your higher thought, higher consciousness, and opening the field of possibilities. Your imagination is present, your intuition awake, your inner truth, inner authority, inner guidance, and inner awareness all awake, awakening to you, to your innovations, your curiosities, your ideas, your manifestations, your solutions and resourcefulness. And as you breathe in the light and the power of the divine heart, awakening your divine heart as it shines in front of you and behind you, on each side, above you, below you, and within you. And your divine heart is here with your human heart, your divine mind and your human mind all operating and unified together as you receive the light of the earth and the light of the heaven. And like the tree of life, you are unified right here within you. There are beautiful beings of the light, all that have joined our gathering earlier are still here with you and with all of us. And you'll notice now that there's a beautiful bridge of light in front of you. And these beautiful beings of the light are here on the bridge. And they're inviting you to cross to the other side with them. They're so excited that you're here. They welcome you, and the love and the outpouring of love just calls you to their light and to the bridge. And so you walk to the bridge of light and you step onto the bridge and you step through the beautiful colors, and each color fills each of your chakras as you walk through the red and the orange, walking through the yellow, filling your solar plexus, your sunshine shining through you, and stepping into the green. And when you look over the side of the bridge, you can see that the river of peace flows underneath the bridge. It's flowing down from sacred mountains in the distance, and the water is the primordial water of creation. And it's beautiful, and it's filled with peace and calm. And the light from the highest heavens is shining on the waters, sparkling light. Prisms of color fill your breath and your light, and the peace of the waters flows through you. And you continue across the bridge and through the color of blue and indigo and through the shades of violet. And you find yourself on the other side of the bridge in the most extraordinary place. All there is love here. And the light from the heavens is shining on everything and fills this place, the third heaven, with amazing grace. You see a pathway that's following along the riverbanks of the river of peace. And you decide to follow the pathway. And after a while, as you're walking by the river of peace, and you can hear the song of the river and the songs of the angels, and you walk to the river's edge, and you take this time with the river of peace, And the light of Reiki fills your breath. And you cup your hands into the crystal clear, pure waters, the sparkling waters. And you take a long drink. And the living waters of peace flow through you. And they purify your body and they cleanse your body. And the living waters within you wake up. And the sparkling light and the colors wakes up. And it awakens the song within you. And you breathe in the light of Reiki. And you can hear the song and the sounds of the angels. And their songs wash over you and begin to cleanse you. And here at the river of peace, you begin to let go of those ways and worries of the world, the injuries that you have sustained, the grief that you feel, the struggles in your life, the burdens you carry. And as you breathe in, the light of Reiki fills your breath and lifts these burdens from you, lifting the injuries from you, the struggles from you, the grief from you for you, lifting it into the light through the heart of compassion, the power of love. And through this authority of compassion, what is released from you travels into the light where it is also healed and the burdens of them lifted from you. Any cords, connectors, attachments are all lifted from you, dissolved into the light, and the burdens of them are no longer yours to carry. And any power they have had over you is lifted from you for you. Any old oaths or vows or promises, curses, spells that are not serving you, they are lifted from you for you. Any of the attachments to them, and they travel into the light, no longer yours to worry or to be weary from, and the burdens are lifted. And as you breathe in, the light travels in on your breath and heals those places where the injuries have been to your physical body, your mental, emotional, and spiritual body. And from any time in your soul's history, they're lifted from you from other lifetimes, ancestral histories. Any time in your soul's history, this lifetime, and you just let them go. And the river of peace sings its song. And the river of peace is here, and the living waters within you fill you with peace. And the light from the heavens flows into your body. And in each of the places where the injury has been, the light fills your breath, flowing in you, healing you, strengthening you, empowering you. The light of the earth rises through you, flowing into your body, connecting you to you, healing any areas of separation, empowering you with your gifts, your talents, your inner knowing, the power of love that you are, awakening and revealing your divine mind and higher thought. And so you breathe deeply and receive this power of love and light and joy and truth and beauty and grace and gratitude. You open your heart and you receive the light of wholeness, the Holy Spirit healing and empowering your Holy Spirit. And you find yourself now continuing along the pathway of the river of peace. The beautiful animals are here lining the riverbanks. There are trees and plants and birds. The sky is beautiful. The ground underneath you has the rhythm and the essence of the earth. And you continue along the pathway until you come to another path. And it's opening to a beautiful field, a meadow filled with wildflowers and grass. And the sky is beautiful blue with puffy white clouds. And so you take the pathway into the meadow and you realize you have found your way to the field of possibilities, this enlightened realm that touches you inside and reaches you within you so you can hear you about your possibilities today and now. And so you see ahead of you a beautiful tree. It's the tree of life here in the field. The enlightened ones are gathered here, and the enlightened divine animal kingdom is here. As you walk through the grass and the wildflowers, butterflies fly up all around you, soft, and there's harmony and peace. And so you walk to the tree of life and to the gathering there, and you're so welcomed. You're greeted by all the life that is here, and you can feel the energy of the tree welcoming you under its great canopy. And when you look into the branches of this tree above you, you can see as if the whole universe is here. There's so much life and abundance here, and growth and beauty. And you can hear the songs of the birds and the life force. The roots of the tree go deeply into the earth. And the divine animal kingdom stands in a circle around the tree. And here in the tree of life, the light is flowing through you. The abundance and prosperity and the blessings are all here with you, for you. And there's a new sense of belonging here, as you are so very welcomed to this gathering. And now inviting continued insight, continued childlike wonder, imagination, practicality, logic, all of the different ways of your consciousness moving forward with you, that you continue to receive guidance. And you say thank you to all the beautiful beings here. And you realize you can come back to this field anytime. It's open to you anytime to come and to listen for your possibilities, solutions. And so you follow the pathway out of the field and back on the path along the river of peace. And this time you stop by the river again, and you can hear the beauty and the love that is here for you. And you cup your hands in the living waters, these beautiful primordial waters of peace, crystal clear and beautiful. And you take a long drink again, filling your body as the element of the earth, the fire, the water, and the air, the electromagnetic fields of the biofields all fill your body. And you begin back towards the bridge of light now, and walking through the violet, the indigo, you cross over the bridge, walking through the blue, the green and the yellow, the orange and the red, and finding yourself on the other side. Here in this place, right now, in your life today, go within and listen. What is your next step? What is your next step? Now begin bringing your awareness back into the room, and take as long as you like. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back completely. Thank you. And some of you may want to take some time to write about your experience. And since we are at time, I am going to open the circle for all of you that need to sign out now. And so I'm able to stay, although I didn't ask Elena if she's able to stay. So we'll see and Sue if any of you have any questions or anything you want to share. But so for those of you that do need to sign out now, we can bring our hands together in Gasho. Just take this time to look inside and say thank you to you, to love you, to receive that love within you, for you. We say thank you to each other. Our circle is always divinely ordered. Those who are here now and those who listen later. And we say thank you to the enlightened ones that have joined us, the teachers and the descendants. And we are so very honored to be here in the lineage of light bringers today, contributing wellness, love, and light, and beauty, and gratitude into the world. And we take this time to say thank you to the earth, the waters of the earth and the life in the waters, the plant nations and the trees and the animals, the birds. We say thank you to the four winds and the moon and the sun and the stars, the planets, the universe, and to the great being of the universe. We say thank you. And so it is. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. I'm so very glad you were here. Such a blessing to be here with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and remove the spotlight now so I can see everybody. Go back to gallery view. And let me get back to, there we go. Now I can see everyone again. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. If any of you have questions, feel free to ask or anything you want to share. And I also know it's late for you guys, so.
There are some comments here from some people saying thank you. Thank you for what you brought to us, that it was magical. And Ivan wrote, impressive how these experiences show parts that sometimes we do not allow to experience. Thank you. And Cassiani said that was a huge pleasure to meet you, and she's thanking everyone here. Elena, Beth, many people saying thank you and how wonderful it was this meeting.
Well, thank you to all of you. It's powerful for me too.
Yes, it was. It was really powerful. Thank you. And I will speak in Portuguese now.
Okay.
E eu queria saber se vocês têm perguntas para a Colleen. Ela está se disponibilizando. Eu já estou vendo uma mãozinha levantada, a Larissa, né? Abre o áudio, Larissa, por favor, pode perguntar.
Olá, boa noite. Vocês conseguem me ouvir? Não é bem uma pergunta, mas eu queria fazer um comentário para ela sobre uma coisa que ela falou antes, no começo, mas eu não queria interromper. E acho que eu consigo expressar em inglês um pouco para ela. Hi, Colleen. It was about something that you say that with the movement of the hand, that for you is something intuitive, is something almost freely. And for me, I learn in the way that it should be in the right places too. But I feel in my heart that I needed to do it in my way, and I've been doing this in my way. So today you say this to me that I'm not doing wrong because I'm not following the way that people teach me. Is like you're making sure that I'm the right path for my work, and I'm not a master yet. I'm starting, and everything you need, it was the cherry on top of my journey to just continue, because it was exactly what I needed. Because for me, I'm from Brazil and I'm from Bahia, and like a lonely journey. Just me here. I live in Japan for 6 years, and I just came back to Brazil right now. And when I talk about Reiki here, nobody knows about it. And I started to feel like it's something, oh my God, I'm doing anything wrong. Like I was not sure of myself this week. And now I came here, and you say about your journey and how this made you feel, and how it was exactly everything I needed to hear to make sure that I'm not the wrong path. It was exactly what I needed to hear, because I am alone in this journey, and nobody is like assuring this for me at all. So it was really encouraging for me to continue, because it was something like the Reiki for me is something that was to cure myself before anything, and then I want to have a career with that, but it was because I have anxiety, and it just changed my life. So I was feeling really wronged, and now this, I know why I came here right now, why I came to listen, because everything makes sense. And I just gonna continue what I'm doing. And And the thing that I'm really intuitive, and the thing that I'm doing in the way I think I'm receiving, and I have to do it. And you're saying that it is okay because you do it yourself. For me, it's great. So thank you. And thank you, Sue, too.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. That was a huge part of my experience too, because it wasn't, I guess, part of it, because I still use those hand positions because they make sense, right? You start at the top and you go to the bottom. But for me, the difference was that my original training, I felt like if I did something intuitive, it was actually incorrect and I was doing it wrong and I was breaking a rule. And so when I found out that actually Usui Sensei practiced intuitively, and each of the significant historical figures used hand positions in a different way, according to them, then that opened the door, just like you say, for me, the same thing. It was like, oh, I get to use my intuition, and that's like, okay. And so, again, I still use so many of the techniques that I was taught because they're good, they work. It was just that I didn't want to be in trouble if I was, if I moved my hand over here instead of over here. And there used to be, like, I went to some Reiki circles where there would be a person who would watch you. And if you had your hands slightly different, they would move them and correct you. And so it was, kind of intimidating, especially because I was so naturally intuitive. At the same time, like I say, they work. And so they make sense. And then understanding why Mrs. Takata taught them and innovated those hand positions is because then people didn't have to have intuition either. You could just do those hand positions and anybody could give Reiki and anybody could receive Reiki. And so that made sense too. It was just that one little piece of, if I moved differently, I was doing it wrong. And so many of us, we're so taught to do it right, get this right, do it this right way. And so thank you for sharing that, because that was very much my experience too. It was like the door opened. The door opened. Yeah. And again, I want to share that we have the distance Reiki shares. They're free every Tuesday. You can come when you can. You can get there late. You can leave there early. Just like here, some people have their videos on, some people have them off, and it is actually completely free. And we do everything to make it stress-free. So it's okay if you come one time and you can't get there the next time, or you're late, or you need to leave. It is completely open to be very much accommodating to your needs. So, and we do invocations, we do journeys, and then we also share Reiki with each other. And we also talk about some pertinent Reiki topics. So you can go to ReikiLifestyle.com and find out about that. Also, Sue has, different Reiki offerings as well. And probably many of you here in the circle do. So you can create community and share with each other too. So you aren't there by yourself, in some of those places where, again, there isn't a large group of people there. So thank you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad it worked so well for you.
And Colleen, there is a question here also for you that Flor is asking. She said, in which sense shamanism helped you to be in your spiritual path, to grow in your spiritual path, and how do you combine shamanism to Reiki?
So for me, I started with shamanism, shamanic training 3 years before Reiki. So it was my initial introduction to any of this kind of work, energy medicines, healing, connecting with spiritual guides on a communication level. I had always been spiritual. So even as a child, I always had a deep relationship with Jesus, with Mary, having been raised Catholic and some of the different saints. But I also always had a deep connection with nature. I could always talk to the animals. I didn't know everybody didn't talk to the animals until I saw an animal communication class. I was like, really? I thought everybody did. I didn't even know. And so shamanism was the first thing I was guided to. And it was very intensive training. I actually have a doctorate in shamanic studies. It wasn't a minor, like every couple weekend classes. It was very intensive training. So within 3 years is when I received Reiki after that. And my teacher actually asked me to focus on Reiki to teach it as a shamanic practice in our school. And so that started that path, although that was natural to me. So my Reiki, again, going back to the original way I was trained in Reiki before I really got to study after, learning with William, was that Reiki, I always worked with the Reiki energy with my shamanic practices, but then later it shifted to where I was doing shamanic practices with my Reiki energy. And so now what I know is that Reiki itself is a Shinto practice. Shinto is what I would call a form of shamanism. Shinto priests or practitioners may not use that same term themselves, but the commonalities are the spiritual connection with the earth, with nature, with spirit. And so I believe that, if you go back to the roots of it with Usui Sensei, he was doing the same things we were doing, just with different techniques and tools and different energies. Shamanism that I was trained in is called core shamanism. So I was trained by traditions of indigenous people around the world. And so I learned the different techniques, the different spiritual practices of, say, I learned fairy doctoring, for instance, when I went into the Celtic shamanism and Ireland and England. And I learned through the Lakota Sioux as a Native American nation here. And I studied deeply with them and learned the ancestral realms of the people there. And I got to study some Tibetan shamanism and Nepali shamanism and some in Africa and had different teachers. So what I really got to discover is kind of a worldview of energy healing, and then understanding that Reiki is a spiritual energy. We are using techniques to access it. The biggest difference with Reiki for me and what I decided to teach and focus on is that attunement piece. Because in shamanism and that training, it takes years to become skilled and to really become, very highly aware of, what are the energies you're working with? Who are the spirit guides? What is their nature? What spiritual realms are they in? What Are they higher or lower frequencies? And again, not that you can't work with any of the above, but you need the skill to know where you are and how you're doing things. With Reiki, because of the attunement, you are automatically given that connection to the energy. So you're always working with an enlightened source of energy. And it is flowing through you rather than coming from you. So that's another thing. Although most of the traditions I learned, they also were working with the spiritual guides doing the work, but some of them would teach you how to fill up your own life force, and then you'd take your life force and give that to the other person. And that depletes you. That's where you get that depletion in comparison. Like, I can get tired because I've practiced Reiki all day and I'm tired, but I'm not ever depleted. Like, it doesn't drain me. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I've taken on other people's stuff or I've given myself away. The energy flows through me. And so it also really helped me with my empathy, because with empathy, I can feel the feelings of anybody and everyone. If I think about like the people in Brazil, I can immediately connect in with the tragedies that are happening there and the difficulties that are happening and everything everyone's going through. So with the empathy, I've learned how to let the Reiki energy come in and do the work in those circumstances rather than giving my own life force energy out. And that has been a huge difference for me because I care so deeply and I'm so passionate about it all. It's been a life changer for me to have that source of energy, and that it was given to me through the attunement. So that is a significant difference. My daughter and I teach advanced Reiki classes. They're January through December. So we're in the middle of this year's courses, and they're a year long each. Sue is now teaching the 12 Heavens course that she took with us and is teaching the same course. And that is, I would say, a very shamanic style, because what we do is we journey with the Reiki energy. So if any of you are familiar with shamanism, you know that one of the basics of it is that you journey into these other realms. And so typically in shamanism, you do that through the rhythm of drums or rattles. And with Reiki energy, we're using the bridge of light, and that's the method of travel. And you're always going into the enlightened realms. Or if you're going across time and space, say in real time with Reiki, going into the past or going into the future, you're still always surrounded by that enlightened energy that Reiki is. So probably a bigger answer than you asked, but anyway, that's what came through. So for me, they've always combined. And even though now I work primarily with Reiki, it's a very shamanic perspective of Reiki and practice of Reiki.
Thank you. It was a great answer. Anyone else would like to ask something? Take this time. Ana Rita?
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Obrigada por esse momento. Eu apenas gostaria de compartilhar que Colleen emociona o seu coração e a sua energia. A Su sempre falou para nós que a Animal Reiki era a energia do seu coração. E Então, para mim foi muito intenso. Senti o coração nas mãos, e das mãos engaixou para o coração, e do coração para as mãos. Para facilitar a tradução, eu anotei. O coração pulou para a mão, engaixou, e da posição engaixou, pulou ao coração. Ocorreu uma ressonância muito forte, e símbolos reiki vieram para a minha cabeça, na parte interna. Eu chegava a ver o contorno do meu cérebro. Era como se o reiki dissesse: quero ficar na cabeça. Como se ele pedisse que cada pensamento fosse um símbolo reiki. E eu aceitei a troca de todos os outros pensamentos naquele instante. E juntas fomos para o Rio da Paz. Lá eu só via os peixes, embora fossem narradas várias outras coisas. Foi quando você veio para mim e disse: olhe os peixes. Se são eles que vêm para você, olhe os peixes. E você disse para mim, naquele momento de jornada: Jesus fez os peixes para se alimentar. Faça seu peixe e seu alimento. As pessoas irão procurar aquilo que transforma água em peixe. Jesus só tinha água. Obrigada por vir a esse encontro, Colleen, porque assim todos nós tivemos a oportunidade de amar você com o coração e com as palavras, usando a nossa mente. Precisamos aprender a unir a nossa mente com o nosso coração, falando uma única união, um único amor. Por isso, Reiki é tudo que podemos expressar. O alinhamento é o que viemos buscar. Eu compartilhei porque encontrei o caminho com a sua vinda. Obrigada.
Oh, thank you, Anarita. Oh, that's really beautiful. And I do so believe in, we want to listen to our heart, but our head is also like, well, I have something to say about what what my heart says. And our logical mind is so valuable and has so much information and assistance, and our human mind and divine mind operating together with our heart. And so I love what you said. Thank you so much. And I love about the fish. Thank you. Beautiful share. Thank you.
That was really beautiful. Really.
Thank you.
Alguém mais gostaria de compartilhar ou falar? Paula, por favor.
Eu quero agradecer. Eu estou muito emocionada de estar aqui com a Colleen, com a Su e com tantas pessoas queridas. O Holy Fire tocou meu coração no primeiro contato. E a partir dali, eu permiti que o Holy Fire guiasse meus passos. E ele guia os meus passos diariamente. Num determinado momento, eu esperava uma energia nova. Eu sentia a necessidade de guiar as pessoas a se conectar com o céu e com a terra na mesma proporção. E quando eu recebi a árvore da vida, foi algo que fez muito sentido para mim. Foi o maior presente que o Reiki me trouxe. A árvore da vida fez tudo fazer sentido. Eu sou engenheira florestal, trabalho com Reiki há mais de 10 anos, tenho 23 anos com animais numa clínica veterinária. E essa energia, ela juntou os meus pedaços, assim, e tudo fez sentido. Eu sou muito grata a Suzana por ter sido esse canal que nos uniu ao Centro Internacional de Treinamento de Reiki. E essa jornada de hoje foi um presente que me trouxe uma certeza muito grande do meu caminho com o Reiki, com a psicologia, com a engenharia florestal e com um campo novo que se abre no meu caminho, que hoje é a ecopsicologia, né, que junta, né, as minhas partes também. Então, assim, eu só tenho a agradecer, e te ouvir falar foi muito inspirador, porque você compartilhou coisas que o Holy Fire te transformou, te mostrou, e que dentro da minha jornada também foram acontecendo. Então, isso traz aquela confiança de que deixar que o Holy Fire nos guie, seja o nosso mestre, é um caminho muito seguro, é um caminho da alma, é um caminho de muita entrega e de muita verdade. Eu só tenho a agradecer a você, a Suzana, e muitos colegas de jornada aqui, que eu tenho um amor, assim, muito grande, porque o Reiki nos une em comunidade, independente da cidade, da escola, do país. Nós somos uma comunidade reikiana, que temos um trabalho coletivo na transformação do nosso planeta, da humanidade, de tudo isso. E estar aqui hoje é um grande presente. Eu sinto um amor muito grande por você. Eu tenho muita gratidão. E eu estive apoiando a Su, assim, com todo o meu amor, com todo o meu reiki, num começo, porque eu sabia que era um começo de um grande projeto. Eu sinto um amor pela Suzana que transborda meu coração.
Oh, thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Thank you.
I only cry.
Right? Like, oh, thank you.
So much emotion here.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. We see you, Elizabeth.
Eu gostaria de dizer que eu acompanho a Paula, amigas pessoais que somos, e eu vi isso na Paula desde sempre. Então, Eu entendo perfeitamente o que ela está falando. O Holy Fire realmente botou a Paula. Eu diria que foi literalmente aquele combustível, né, Paulinha, que fez a Paula deslanchar. Então, eu fico muito feliz com isso. Eu vejo ali toda essa dedicação e a Su foi aquele nosso o caminho, né, Paulo? As nossas jornadas aí por conta desse impulso que a gente recebeu no Holy Fire nos levou ao Japão. Então, acho que não preciso falar mais nada, né? Ele tocou o nosso coração de uma maneira muito forte. Então, eu agradeço profundamente, uma gratidão profunda a ter tomado um contato, né, com o Holy Fire, com todo esse sistema, com tudo isso que nos faz de uma maneira natural a seguir o nosso caminho. É isso, o que eu gostaria de dizer. A oportunidade de conhecer corações que se conectam, cada um numa cidade, num país, e somos uma comunidade, é isso. Thank you very much, Colleen.
Such a blessing. Thank you. Yeah, community. To me, it's what it's all about.
There is two questions here. More another question from Flor. She's saying, as an example, if she notice headache in the receiver of Reiki, migraine, yes. And in this case, how is your suggestion for the practitioner to disconnect of this energy? I think is if she keeps feeling the migraine after.
So the practitioner is feeling the migraine, or the client is still feeling. Okay. So sometimes people's intuition style is a sympathetic intuition. And so your style of receiving intuition when you're giving Reiki can be where you are, you feel in your body where the issue is in their body. So, for instance, if they have a knee problem, you may feel pain in your knee. In this case, it's understanding, first of all, that it's an intuition style. And then how do you manage that so that you aren't taking on their stuff? And so that's the big difference, is when you notice the intuition is taking you to that particular issue. And something like a migraine isn't always at the head. It could be another part of the body that is generating the migraine. The same thing with really any kind of an injury. It can be generated somewhere else in the body than where the symptoms are. So when you first begin to notice that sensation, use Reiki, activate more Reiki to come in and actually release that energy from you. So I have that sometimes. So let me give you an example of, maybe I can feel something in, well, I had one the other day, for instance, where this person, and I didn't know anything, that she had just been to the dentist. But I was in the session and my jaw started to hurt so badly that I actually, put my hands on my own face and just said to her, well, you've got pain in your jaw. But then in that moment, I instructed the Reiki energy to release from me as well as from her, but also that releasing from me as if, okay, I've got the information now, it needs to go. The other thing is instructing Reiki in advance that, and this is in the big picture of instructing it, like always, okay, Reiki, always give me another style of intuition or just indicate it and then let it go, and instruct Reiki not to have you take it on, because sometimes that's what happens. And you might even, not you, but a person might even feel as if it's your responsibility to take it from them and discharge it for them. And we are never required to use our own life force or our own body in that way. There are different types of healing modalities that do it that way, but Reiki is not one of those modalities. So we're always using the Reiki energy to do the work. Sometimes you can find one symbol or another may help. I also would use the distance symbol for that, so that whatever is going through the distance symbol is a bridge of light. So I see it also not just something I use to travel with, but in a case like that, where does the energy go that's being released? It goes into that bridge of light to the light, where now it's being healed for whatever reason it's there to begin with. So that would be some of the things that I would work with that. Another one that you might do is, direct the energy into the earth through that bridge of light. But more often, I do everything going up into the light and let it take care of it. So try that next time and see if that's helpful, but also to understand that may be your intuition style. We call them clairsenses, and that is one of them, where it is a sympathetic intuition that you physically feel the other person's circumstance. So like I can think the circumstance, but the physical part of it is less common for me. Most of the time I'm going to think what I intuit. So they're just different styles of intuition. And when you understand your style more, it'll help you to understand how to work with it, because it is a difficult style. It is a difficult one when you have that sympathetic. But remember, you can dialogue with Reiki and give it instructions. Like I can't have somebody's migraine when they have a migraine. It can't work that way. And so you can actually talk to Reiki itself and tell it to do something different.
I think this was really helpful.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, but feel free to ask again if you have more questions about it.
Yeah, and you are a really good person to talk about that. And there is another question here from Julie that is, she's asking what the difference between your class of 1 year with the other class of September.
So the class in September is a 3-day class that attunes you to the Reiki Master symbols of the Usui Master symbol and the Holy Fire Master symbol. So it's actually a Reiki Master class and training. And it's 3 days. And then you receive a certificate of being a Reiki Master. You are able now to pass those attunements on to others. You learn how to do that. And you learn about the master symbols and the different energies that you're working with, giving you greater abilities as a practitioner, and then also the ability to teach and teach others Reiki and pass it on to others. The next step Reiki classes and the 12 Heavens Reiki classes are, we meet once a month, and it's all online. And in each month, we study new levels of advanced Reiki. So you have to already have at least Reiki 2 to take any of those classes, and they are advanced levels. So the next step Reiki classes are actually 3 one-year trainings, and they're consecutive. So there's level 1, level 2, and level 3. And those are designed originally because for many of the things we've even talked about here today, that so many people are already receiving intuitive information when they give Reiki, but they don't know how to do that with skill. And so these, the next step classes teach you through your own personal discovery, the skill of really being able to operate with your intuition and be able to journey, do Reiki journeys for other people that give you access to observing how Reiki is working and also higher levels of your own consciousness. So they're, just to say it in a short way, they're advanced levels of training. And they're each a year long.
Mais perguntas, pessoal?
Su, para quem já é mestre, vai ser como uma reciclagem ou um curso novo? Vocês já resolveram?
This is the Usui Holy Fire III Reiki Master class. And so if you have already had that, it is the same class. And so you would be reviewing it, and I'm teaching it. So, with all of us teachers, there's always a different, there's a different flavor. But yes, if you've had that class, it is the same class.
Thank you.
You are
Obrigada,
welcome.
Helena.
Mais perguntas? Compartilhamentos?
Okay, well, shall we? Oh, there's Gilberto. Hi, Gilberto. Oh, put your hands down.
Pode falar, Gilberto. Ela está te chamando.
You can still ask.
Eu estou muito feliz por esse encontro. E, Colleen, com sua permissão, amanhã é o aniversário da Suzana. Eu vou pedir que todos abram seus microfones e vamos cantar parabéns para a Suzana, em homenagem a ela. Vamos abrir os microfones e vamos cantar parabéns para ela.
Helena, if you're translating, I can't hear.
Parabéns.
Parabéns para você.
Muitas felicidades, muitos anos de vida para você. Nessa data querida, muitas felicidades, muitos anos de vida. Viva
Gratidão.
Agora uma chuva de reiki para ela.
Oh, no, that's fine. I didn't know that, Sue. So it's so funny.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Obrigada, gente. Abraço para vocês, viu? Vocês são demais. Vocês são demais. Gratidão.
Uma boa maneira de comemorar, né, Su?
Amanhã eu vou estar no Karuna Reiki. Você não está entendendo o meu presente de aniversário. Meu presente de aniversário vai ser estar no Karuna Reiki este fim de semana inteirinho. Para mim, como aluna. Muito bom.
Oh, that's right. We're doing Karuna Reiki tomorrow. I love it.
E Priscila?
Eu queria agradecer bastante esse encontro e toda essa sua disponibilidade em estar aqui com a gente, toda essa sua doação. Assim como a Paula falou, né? Acho que a Suzana foi um divisor de águas na vida de muitas pessoas, trazendo o Holy Fire, né? E eu quero agradecer você a ter trazido o animal reiki. Eu não tenho a mínima experiência com animais, mas ele me toca profundamente como animal humano, né? Como ser humano. E eu acabo usando ele muito com as pessoas. E acho que faz muita diferença. Acho que traz um novo olhar, né? Para nós, como pessoas dentro desse grande, né? Ecossistema, porque nós somos a natureza somos nós. Então fez muita diferença e poder participar, né? Não é sempre que eu consigo entrar lá no Reiki Lifestyle, né? No Reiki Share, quer dizer. Para mim também é muito importante, porque eu sou dessas que aprende a técnica, mas depois acabo seguindo a minha intuição e fazendo do meu jeito. Então, poder saber que isso é possível através de você, com tantas coisas brilhantes que você faz, né, deixando essa energia fluir e transformando, assim, para o bem de tantas pessoas ali, né, toda essa doação que você tem, é maravilhoso o seu trabalho. Então, assim, eu queria agradecer muito, né, porque acho que ele transforma muito mesmo a vida das pessoas. E essa sua doação, acho que é sem palavras, assim como a Su, né, que se doa tanto, né, e tá sempre ali que a gente precisa, né, é muito maravilhoso mesmo. Então, quero agradecer muito o trabalho de vocês. E essa noite também. Obrigada.
Oh, thank you so much, Priscilla. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
E nós que agradecemos. Obrigada.
I feel blessed. I can feel it. Thank you. I know it's like my face is all smiling so big.
Yeah, I think it's so much love here.
Feel the love.
Yes, it's great. It's a great community, great Reiki community we have here. More questions? What do you think, Colleen?
I think let's open the circle and finish up. And thank you all so much. So let's bring our hands together in Gasho and just take this time and all this love and all this gratitude that we open our hearts and receive it. And we share it with each other in our beautiful and divinely ordered circle. And so we open the circle now, and we also continue with our hearts receiving the power of these blessings and the power of this love, even as we share it with others. Thank you. And so it is. Oh, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. We'll do this again, I'm sure. And Helena, thank you so much for staying and all your translating. And Sue did a lot of work on this, you guys. Thank you so much, Sue.
It was a pleasure. It's great to see this.
Thank you, Colleen. Obrigada, Su. Obrigada, Helena. Obrigada a todos.
Thanks, Julie.
Gratidão a todos, pessoal. Foi bom demais estar com vocês, viu? Comunidade maravilhosa. Beijo para vocês. no coração de cada um. Helena, de novo, gratidão, muita gratidão por você estar aqui com a gente, viu? Foi maravilhoso como sempre. E Beth também, gratidão pelo seu apoio, né?